It is election day mukbang with, I was going to do a live stream. I may still later. I have off the next couple days, so I'm really excited about that. So we are going to enjoy ourselves today with Sun Warrior protein powder and collagen rebuilder. We have some homemade serrano sauce, and we have corn tortilla with a nice bowl of black beans, onions, cilantro, Fritos, and rice, which is way under there. You can't see it. When all else fails, the world goes back to beans and rice, and amazingly, everything is just so wonderful. We also have here one of the things I would recommend for those of you who are plant-based. This is cheddar alternative. Cheddar shreds taste exactly like shredded cheese, but it is not. It is dairy-free. It is completely, it consists of filtered water, coconut oil, food starch, modified potato and corn, sea salt, cheddar flavoring, vegan sources only, olive extract, paprika, beta-carotene extract, vitamin B12, cellulose to prevent caking. And I've used it about a month or two, and it is truly one of the best things because it melts exactly the way you would expect cheese to melt. And of course, with Fritos replacing croutons, that's what I'm trying to say. They are original and they are plant-based. They're an easy source of fat, and they're, of course, delicious. So I'm not waiting for you. I'm getting started. Today is election day, and I am ready. I am staying tuned. I have no idea how hot this is. Let's find out. It hits a spot. They were dried peppers. I was about to throw them out, and they end up hitting the spot. Actually tastes much hotter than serranos, which I like. Very often, folks, you're going to be in situations where your head plays games with the dynamic of eating. You say, do I want something quick and easy, or do I want something drawn out? Rice and beans I had prepared, and all I had to do was pop a can for the beans to allow them to do their work for me. I boil them on the stove 5 minutes to make sure I take care of all the processing nastiness in the can. And then I just throw in the Fritos and I'm ready to go. It's pretty easy. And when your expectations are low and when you're in that perpetual reverence mindset, which I've talked about before, you feel a lot better. You feel a lot more productive. I get so many people that are emailing me and they're commenting on the channel and a lot of the content. And they're commenting and saying congrats on 30,000 subscribers and whatnot. But if you look at the channel, you'll find that my subscribers jump up and down. I might jump up a few hundred and then jump down. And the reason for that is that most people find this channel and they realize what it is and what it isn't. They realize that it has value, but it's mixed with things they weren't prepared for. So basically what they tell me is they're not prepared for life. They're not prepared for the mixed bag of exchange that is life. Here we go. You see that? This is hot, man. When I first jumped onto MyFitnessPal in 2015 and told my weight loss story, I had a whole bunch of ladies contact me. And these are big, rotund ladies that were struggling because at the time, what they were taught was you should eat 5 little meals a day and you should fuel the fires of weight loss. Remember that? It's not as popular anymore. But as a result, they said, what is your secret? And I said, eat once a day. And they said, they immediately unfriended and blocked me because they didn't want to hear that. So what you will find is that this channel serves as an anti-echo chamber. You might come here one day and I mention politics, or I mention religion, or I mention philosophy. I might mention Buddhism. I might mention practical tips. I might mention white noise and sleeping. If you're unprepared for life, you succeed better. And that's what I'm really offering on this channel. That's why I don't do advertisements. I don't do sponsors. The only thing you ever see me advertise are things that I use and that I know work, because the fakery is so strong. And I get this every day. And I'm not kidding you. Almost every day without exception, I get someone who says, hey, we like your channel. Will you advertise our video game? What the hell does that have to do with anything? You know, they say, well, we'll pay you money if you mention our super fat burner XL hyper energy version 2, version 2.5 or something. I don't even reply back. I used to say no thanks. I don't even reply back now. I thought this would be mediocre at best. This meal is actually really good. But, and I'm going to save the shake here for when we're done. But people are so fake, and that's what keeps this channel pretty small for a successful channel, is because most people want an echo chamber. They want to hear what all of the other diet channels are touting. They want to hear that insulin is a problem, drink a bunch of butter. They want to hear just eat a bunch of steak. They want to hear glutens or nightshades are the problem, or they want to hear aspartame is bad. These are the things that you don't need because they happen not to matter to most people. But our brains look for patterns. So we go out of our way and we say, by the way, you'll notice this is not a normal size bowl. This is a kind of big bowl. And it takes the place of a plate. So if you want to use a larger bowl, I got this at Dollar General for like $1. And I got a couple of these smaller ones to go with it. And they're definitely worth it. Usually, I put the rice and the corn chips on the bottom so that they absorb the heat and the juice from the beans, but I wanted y'all to see it. Here we go again. Notice, of course, when you sit down to eat, you should be ready. I don't need to get up and get anything else. That's a mistake a lot of you are making. And you realize if you take 45 minutes to eat and you go out, you're going to realize you've eaten like a whole hour and a lot more than you otherwise would have. That's why a bowl or a plate regulates your consumption, but also having something like this, a piece of bread or a tortilla to sop up, is really good. But that's what we don't do on this channel. We don't do censorship. We don't do echo chamber. you may often hear from me what you don't want to hear, even if it's something you really oppose. But if you get offended that a YouTuber disagrees with you, you have some problems. Most of the world relies on rice. And if they didn't, we have a very different world. And here's a tip. You want hot sauce without a chip, you just dip that in, and you get all the heat and the salt. The salsa is just 12 serrano peppers, boiled with 2 of the orange sweet peppers you saw me eat in the last broadcast, mukbang broadcast, with nutritional yeast and salt. Boil it for 5 minutes, take it out, chop it up in like a ninja, add back some water, nutritional yeast, and you've got a great simple breakfast taco style salsa. Working on it here. We are in trouble in this nation. We really are. Tonight, we are going to see stuff start happening. Businesses are going to be burned down. There's going to be stores closing. A lot of people in the business world I know are paid up on their insurance. They have their disaster plans in place because a lot of unhappy people are going to start doing what it is they do. And I keep getting people ask me, why is this happening? Why are we at such a divide in this country that we can't agree on how things are handled? Well, the answer is simple. We get our news from different sources, and therefore we can't even agree anymore on what we consider news. The result is conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory. It's insane. You have the usual stuff about people saying that we didn't land on the moon or the Holocaust never happened. And then you have people saying that 9/11 was an inside job, which is equally crazy. And then you have people snitching on their neighbors because of COVID and saying, well, they're not wearing masks. Which, by the way, if you stand in that camp, you are part of the problem. It used to be that people would defend to the death someone else's right to free speech. And not anymore. People will turn in their neighbors, just like in the Stasi police back in World War II, German police. And the very people that talk about racial tolerance and diversity are the least diverse people that you would ever see. You see extremes mean. The people that talk the most about peace and love and are often not who they say they should be or who they say they are. And then you look at people who are results-driven and hard-nosed, who seem cruel, but are actually the ones who are coming back toward a correct understanding of things. We're still working here. I can quit any point here. I feel like I, all things considered, wasn't really that hungry. Maybe it's the current events. But That's the way this was. In the 70s when I was growing up, we had 8 channels. 3 of them were Spanish channels. So if you wanted news, you just turned the dial on that clunk clunk pear green TV and watched it with the little rabbit ears. Now everybody has a voice. There's a good to that and a bad to that, and as a result, nobody can agree. And so every time there's any sort of police action or violence, people use it as an excuse to steal, to loot. And here we are in a situation where things are going to get worse. They're going to get worse, much worse than they were. I don't want to carry on too long, but the reason we're at this divide is because of social media, and it is because of capitalism. This is kind of a Dow moment here. We allowed companies like Twitter and Facebook to get too big, whereas they're saying they're just privately owned. They're now affecting election results. They are standing in the way of progress. And as a result, we're facing civil war. And we're going to move into civil war. This election results are going to be the most contested thing. I hope I'm wrong about all of this. But you're at this point, and many of you haven't been alive long enough to know reality in life. You've just been raised in school with safe spaces and in colleges, and maybe you grew up with a little league, Mighty Mites cheerleading team where they reset the scoreboard, so you didn't really have to compete. Fundamental understanding not there. The other tortilla was at the bottom, like I said. I usually do 2. I hold one, I put one on the bottom. So I hope if you have not voted, I know this is a cheap shot because, we're just doing a mukbang here. You need to make sure you get out before 7 Central time for us, wherever you are, for my U.S. viewers. And you need to do some very serious thinking. I'm not telling you how to vote, but you do need to get out and vote. You guys saw this coming. Come on. I'm at 18 minutes. Normally, I don't take this long to eat. Nope, this channel will always be somewhat small for a successful channel because most people, they want predictability. And I'm not that. I'm not very marketable either, but that's the one thing that stands in the way of some of you guys who fail so often, because you want things to be predictable. You want things to agree with you. That's the nature of divine truth. It has to be your master. It has to be your Lord, and therefore it will always beat you. It will always confuse you. That's why you get up every day to the depression and the confusion that you feel, which you should, instead of being disappointed about, you should rejoice in, because that means you're not in charge. That means you have a purpose. You don't want to be in charge. You don't want to be the grand poobah. No one wants to be God. Think about it. Still got some of that hot sauce on it. Man, it's good. And I have practically no cooking skill. Even when I cook for the girls, sometimes they just want to go out. They're like, "You're terrible." It's awful, the situation we're facing now. But most of you don't know that it is that unpredictability of life. The fact that life doesn't tell you. That's what makes it great, because no one wants to be God, because it's like playing a game on the computer of a forced checkmate. For those of you who know chess, if an opponent says, I found a forced checkmate in 6 moves, that means if you continue the game, that means you're forced here, you're forced here, forced here, and then 6 moves later, the game is over. So if that's the case, why do you want to keep playing? Just end the game. So in professional chess tournaments, you see them resign because the game is ended. The divine is in a quest to not know for that very reason. Most of you are not maybe mature enough to understand this, but it's true. The divine is, all it does is want not to know. That's why you exist, because you can't know. You see, it's brilliant. Every predicament you've ever faced, every health problem, every conundrum, every moral dilemma, it is a blessing. I'm sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full. A little more hot sauce, and we're going to be done. The fact that you don't know, the fact that you are not in life's echo chamber, you create that for yourself. If you surround yourself with people who always agree with you, you create the echo chamber. When I hire people, I want to hire people unlike me, because I know what I bring and I know what someone like me brings. So I made the decision long ago, when I want to hire people who can give me an equal palette of traits. And if you understand that, if you accept that, you understand. You truly understand. All right. We're going to wrap this up. Rice and beans, that's all you need. We started out talking about rice and beans, and we moved on to the universal purpose and truth. Isn't this nuts? But again, if you don't understand, you're just not ready. All done, except for our sweet delight here. This consists of almond milk, Sun Warrior chocolate protein shake, Sun Warrior collagen rebuilder, and a half tablespoon of flax seeds for the rest of the nutrition. So you don't taste it, you just spend a minute with the Ninja, and it's delicious. The only complaint with Sun Warrior products is you don't get a whole lot for your money, and they're expensive. But they're better than whey proteins, which spike your blood sugar. More BCAAs here. By the way, these do not spike your blood sugar. Branched chain amino acids, or BCAAs, are great to supplement fasted protein. If you want a little extra protein, which it never hurts. It really doesn't hurt. You're not going to get any negative reactions with it. This is made from pea protein, by the way. So for you vegans, you have a good source here of great protein that is consistently well done. And it allows you to rebuild, your muscles in a quicker way. Thomas DeLauer did a video today on fasting and muscle growth and how misleading that is. And he's exactly right in his research. You have growth hormone when you're fasting, but you don't grow from that. Instead, it offsets the effect of epinephrine. And this is completely true, which is catabolic, which tears you down. So basically, your body's preserving muscle as best it can. However, when you keep your protein levels high, you do have a better, if you work out and your goal is to build muscle, which mine is now. Even though I'm dropping in weight again, I'm also maintaining and gaining muscle, gaining strength. It can be done. If you choose to take BCAAs, they're a benefit, but they are not required. Slight clay taste to the milkshake. But again, it's a completely plant-based solution. I think a pepper just made it down my throat. How hot can you guys handle it? You guys handle the hot peppers? Or do you prefer not to? I know my Canadian viewers tend to not even be able to handle stuff like paste picante. So be it. All right, I'm going to kill it here. Start working on my water later on, and then we'll probably try to do a live election day broadcast if I can. Thank you for joining me. I hope this was helpful. See you later.